had filmed the whole first season, and I had felt really good about it because I was like, whoa, this is actually an awesome show. It's deep, it subverts expectations, it's not what you expect, but it's also the Karate Kid.
Well, Marshmallow from the Direct. Congratulations again on the show. It is now over. Everyone has seen it.
It's over. Said and done.
With the series now complete, just looking back, what's your favorite moment to experience? Like in any capacity, whatever that means to you. What was your favorite moment to have experienced?
Man, my favorite moment was getting to, like, the first tidbits of getting to create that chemistry with my young cats here on the show. Jacob, Mary, Tanner, Gianni, Khalil, everyone, all of those folk, I feel like we created such a tight bond. And a lot of those first memories, going to go, like, fuck it up at the mall, or like go eat at Waffle House, or go play golf at the driving range, whatever, like I will value those memories so much because it's like, I mean, part of it was like high school, you know, so.
Are there been any like really surprising fan reactions that you've seen or noticed?
Dude, I mean, for me, the most surprising fan reaction was we had filmed the whole first season, and I had felt really good about it because I was like, whoa, this is actually an awesome show. It's deep, it subverts expectations, it's not what you expect, but it's also the Karate Kid. And then when the trailer came out and people were like, what the fuck is this gonna be? What the heck? I was so surprised. Thankfully, when the show came out, all those kind of whispers and chatters were brought to a close, but that was the most surprising fan reaction because I thought we made something really great.
If Cobra Kai got a spinoff, what is your pitch? Who do you think deserves it the most? Deserves might be a strong word, but what's the first thing?
Deserve is definitely a strong word, but I really, I would love to see the binary bros live on. I think Jacob and Gianni were two of the most, definitely two of the most deserving folk, and getting to see their college years. If I wanted to see anyone's college years, I want to see both of them at Caltech. Like, not knowing that high school isn't beating people up when you are arguing with them, I think that would be really funny.
All right, I'm going to pivot real quick.
Okay.
If the MCU comes a knocking, what's your dream role? You got to pick, though. The MCU. Do you have a dream, like, this is who I want to play one day?
Man, bro, Nightcrawler.
I see it.
Yeah, I'm like trying to think of the Latinos. I'm like, we could Silver Surfer. I don't know, but actually, it'd be cool to do a character that's like animated, you know, like a CGI character. I think. Yeah.
Also, are we going to see you show up in Invincible season 4?
That's a great question, bro. We did all of our sessions in like 2 days, so I'm not even too sure. We did those years ago.
You're in season 8, actually, by the way.
When it came out, I was like, what? Oh, that's right. Even I was surprised. But it's been such a blessing to hear the response of that. The season has been great. Very
last question. If your character could, later in their life, they start their own dojo, what are you going to name it?
Cobra Can. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
I'll take it. Well, sir.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, I hear you guys had a big show that just wrapped up recently.
We wrapped up Cobra Kai recently, and it's all done. That's it.
Now, season 6 had a powerful ending, and it was adored by fans. Was that final scene between Daniel and Gianni always the plan, or was there like alternate scenes that you had in mind for those last moments?
The very last scene between Daniel and Gianni and the fly with the chopsticks wasn't figured out until we started working on the final season. But everything else in that episode, all the big moments where the characters land, we knew where that was going. It was just, the idea of playing with the fly and chopstick scene from Karate Kid was something that we've talked about every season, trying to find the right place, and we were ready to let it go if it wasn't organic, and it just so happened to end the show with it felt right to us.
It was almost Demetri by a trash can in an earlier season, and we were like, that doesn't feel right.
Yeah, that was definitely, it didn't have the gravitas that the final scene of our series had.
Episode 14 had an explosive ending, with both John Kreese and Terry Silver dying. 2 questions related to that. Was it always the plan for them to die together on that yacht? Were there alternate death scenes that you guys had in mind for them?
It was always the intent for them to die together. It was always the intent for Kreese to sacrifice himself to save Gianni from peril. And as we got into the second half of the series, that peril took on Silver's face more and more. And even after we finished season 5, and it was kind of the destruction and the end of Silver, we knew that there would be one more death rattle that would have to be quelled, and that was the perfect moment for Kreese to really show his true colors. And it was just a push from the three of us to fight the battles to get onto that yacht and actually bring cameras out to sea and do that. And it was a proud day at sea.
We didn't see any bodies, and a lot of fans have noticed this. What can you say on those theories? Like people thinking that maybe one or both of them are alive.
We can say that, you can watch the episode, see that explosion, see how close they were to where the explosion started, and determine for yourself if you think it's possible for human beings to survive that.
I'll say Mythbusters should try to recreate it and just see and let us know. Get a couple of pig carcasses, put them really close to a bunch of gasoline, and throw a cigar at it, a lit cigar, and just see what happens. See if the pigs are like on one piece.
But the one thing is there is a lot of water nearby, so if for whatever reason they caught on fire and fell into the water, it's possible. They're very athletic men. We could see where anybody would...
Hayden doesn't know how an explosion works. Like, I would imagine the body pieces that are in a million pieces each do get extinguished when they hit the water. I think he's thinking it's kind of like a boom, and they like magically fly back, and they're a little bit on fire, as opposed to like what actually happens if you're in the middle of it.
I actually do know a lot about explosions. There are different types of explosions, and I don't think now is the time to go into all the different ones.
Some powder keg. We saw the explosion.
Some are more implosion. It depends on what the detonation is.
Well, we showed the explosion. It was kind of like a nuclear explosion.
But usually something that's igniting.
Right.
It's not like tearing the body apart necessarily.
We saw the boat explode. The boat exploded to a million pieces.
Here's what I would expect. I would expect Kreese and Silver did explode into a million pieces. It's possible that their bodies reformed, or they reformed as one, and they're one giant Kreese Silver monster.
Silver's head could be on like an octopus now, and that like it symbiotically like kind of like becomes part of his brain, and it's Octo Silver, and there's
By the way,
universe.
that's the spinoff that's coming. You heard it here
I
first.
wasn't supposed to talk about
Octo
it.
Silver.
That's what I was going to actually, it's a good segue. My last question was just, you guys have talked about potentially continuing this universe in the future. What is a dream spin-off for you guys? What characters do you think hold some of the most potential?
So many dreams. I mean, we have a buffet in front of us in terms of what we'd like to do, and it just has to line up with what our partners at Sony and Netflix want to do. There's contemporary spin-offs that take place after the events of Cobra Kai. There's other spin-offs that we know the audience has been speculating about that takes place 100 years ago. We'll have to see, and everything in between. We'll have to see which one is the right time and the right project, but hopefully there's more to share soon.
It has a very powerful kind of ending that was adored by fans. The final scene between Daniel and Gianni was that was always the plan, right? And what did it feel to be able to do that? How cool was that?
Yeah, the final scene it was nice because they held that little fly catching homage for the end, and what was so nice about that scene, it was so behavioral. It was just like two guys having a conversation about property taxes or whatever it was, and students, and just sitting gazing at a menu where so much of the show is like, not on my watch. What are you doing, man? So it was so nice to kind of just be natural and real, and yet still play the reminiscence and the nostalgia of yesterday. When they flashed or played back to the scene with Pat Morita from the original film, we really got to sit there and you felt the magic of where it all began. So, and then it ends with a little Cobra Kai spice.
There's also that cool dream sequence, with Mr. Miyagi. What was that like? That was a pretty cool, unexpected little addition to the show.
Yeah, we did. We were talking all season about Daniel going down this sort of dark path of mystery of, what he didn't know about his mentor, and what that took him down a rabbit hole, and how, in essence, in his own mind, he had to suss this out and gain wisdom even without the ability of having him there. So it was fun to do. We were on a insane tight schedule. We had about an hour and a half to shoot that whole scene with the skeletons, and it was emotional, but it was.
Damn, dog! You look like you're built like an action figure, bro.
It was nice to have. How do you compete?
You can't. I think. Was there ever any worry of pushback against the CGI or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I have a little pushback on it. I don't think we didn't have the budget to, my main concern is I wanted Daniel to be fighting side by side with Miyagi. As far as the dialogue scene, for me, it was more about them together and more about the thing that releases it is it's all in Daniel's mind. It's not really happening. It's in his mind. So you have a little leeway in we dream, distract, and distort it at times. So I think it sold the message, if not perfect.
Last two super quick questions. Dream spinoff. What are your ideas there?
Well, I want the Miyagi origin story to happen, and that's in discussions and works, but, nothing official. So wouldn't we all want to see who he was before we ever met him, something with Chosen because he's awesome.
You're also in Karate Kid, the new movie coming out. Any slight teases on how that's going to compare to what this show accomplished?
It's it's a different story, a different ecosystem in the same universe. So you could know about the Karate Kid franchise, or you could not know anything about it and still be entertained. It's kind of a fresh take, a 2025 summer movie version for the next generation. Working with Jackie Chan, who's a legend. Excited for Ben Wong, who's really terrific, but it'll never take the place of what the Karate Kid, original Karate Kid into Cobra Kai was. It's just another story with those themes.
Well, with the series now complete, just looking back on the whole experience, what is your favorite moment? And that can mean anything, whether that's a moment within the story, a set moment, anything.
I think I really enjoyed Season 4, the All Valley, when we did our weapons demonstration. I trained with the kamas, which are like just tiny little size, for 3 months straight. I only did 2 takes. I didn't mess up a single take. My Airbnb floor got pretty messed up though, because I was dropping that stuff like crazy, and they're just tiny little knives on sticks. That was fun. Also, Josa, who plays Kyler, he did the brick breaking. He broke the brick with his head. That he wasn't supposed to do that. He was just supposed to punch it. And they told him, do not aim with your head. There are sticks in there holding it together. You will mess your head up. And he did it anyways. And it looks awesome.
Now, the show is done, but, say it were to have continued, what else would you want to see explored with your character?
Dude, I mean, there's always talks of spin-offs, and I think you could do a spin-off of any character, but if you were to do one of the Binary Bros, I think that would be the best one. You just see them in
Xolo thought the same thing.
There we go. Okay, thank you, Xolo. Just like college years, they're going to Caltech. Maybe they build some killer robots, gets loose, destroys the city. I don't know. But really anything. I love playing the character. I'm down for anything.
Has there been what is the most surprising reaction you've seen from fans regarding how everything wrapped up?
Dude, just Silver and Kreese blowing up. I didn't think anyone could explode on this show. We've had characters die in the past, but Quan getting stabbed to death, the yacht exploding. I think people were surprised about how much murder there was. I wasn't expecting it.
Last quick question. In the future of your character, say 20 years down the line, if they start a dojo of their own, what is the name?
Just, try your best, Kai? I don't know. That's all Demetri ever does. He tries his best. It's a very pessimistic name, though.
Well, thank you, sir. It was great. Now, this is a loaded question, but, the show is done. But looking back on it, what is your favorite moment? And that can be within the story, it could be an on-set experience, whatever that means to you.
I mean, that's the thing is we always we always have such a fun time on set that there isn't one favorite moment that I can really pinpoint. I would say one of my favorite acting moments though was that last scene I got. Well, it's not a last scene, but the last scene I got to have with Billy, where we got to have that true father-son moment where we're both on the same page. We had it in season 4 where we got to apologize to each other, but this one was hey, we're on the same page. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you, and that was it. And there was just love in there, and it was that scene I had been waiting for 7 years for, and I was so happy that I got it, and I got to share that with Billy, and it was such a fun scene to do.
Now the show might be over, but say it continued. Is there anything with your character that you would have liked to still explore a little bit?
I've been asking the writers for 7 years for Robby to get a motorcycle. So Robby gets a motorcycle, and he becomes a multi-millionaire. That's all that's on. That's all.
Is that your dream spin-off right there?
That's it right there. It's Robby as Silver, but the good version of Silver is basically what it is. Yeah.
Now, last question. 20 years down the line with your character, say they start their own dojo, what are they naming it?
That's a good question. Oh, God. I have not a clue. We'll have to call it... We'll call it just Bob Karate. We'll go back from seasons 1 and 2 where Robby had the bob, and he'll bring back that hairstyle, and anybody that joins has to get a bob. It'll just be Bob Karate.
I think Bob Karate has a nice ring to it.
Yeah, there you go. See, everyone's just going to have a bob, and they'll learn hairography, which is a very hard thing to do. I'm not kidding around. Yeah, it's a very real thing.
Well, sir, thank you very much. Congratulations.
I think that, oh my gosh, that's such a hard question. We have had the most incredible group of people, so I think all of those important moments when I think about it is less to do with the world of the work and more to do with the world of the people that are making the work happen. This season specifically, we had one great training weekend where we all got to get in the dojo together and just kind of goof off, but it was like a very Miyagi-Do way of goofing off, because like we were playing dodgeball, we were doing karate dodgeball. So we got to like throw balls at each other and had to like kick or punch them away, stuff like that. We were learning the lessons, but in a really fun way. It's a lot of goofing off and having a blast together.
What is your dream spin-off? What do you think when Cobra Kai hopefully gets a spin-off one day, what do you think it should be?
There's a lot that I think would be really fun. I think the fun thing about our show is any 2 characters or 3 characters you like put in a blender together, it would come out hilarious. But I have this image in my head of Samantha and Chosen's character in like a buddy cop comedy type vibe off in Okinawa. And I feel like Chosen would be like the big tough bad guy, and Samantha would be his like good cop trying to keep him in check. But maybe it'd be funny the other way around. I don't know.
Very last super quick question. 20 years down the line, what is your character naming their own dojo?
Ooh, I mean, I think maybe it's a simple answer, but I think Samantha would stay true to Miyagi-Do. I think Miyagi-Do is the legend of Mr. Miyagi lives on.
You know, there are many memorable fight scenes in Cobra Kai Season 6. One standout sequence was the final fight between Gianni and Sensei Wolf. Can you talk about like the process of finding the right balance between the execution and the emotion that surrounds such a powerful fight sequence?
I really appreciate the fact you use the word the right balance. Because, right, that's what it's all about. And I think that's what we found with Gianni by saying that and finding it in his fight scene. I think the whole story was for Johnny Lawrence not to just find out about balance in his fight sequence, but also balance in his life. I think that's the whole thing about Cobra Kai and the humanity about it, is that Johnny Lawrence was able to find balance in his life. So to have that, it's not just a fight sequence of movement and telling a physical story. It is, I mean, it's literally telling a physical story, but it's not about just a fight. The choreo that we on that scene was basically, there's a lot of thought in it, and we had a lot of say in it just between the writers. We wanted to make sure, more importantly, that Billy was happy with the fight. And I think that we wanted to make something that was, dynamic, scary, and we wanted to feel that Johnny is outclassed, he's outmatched, but he has the heart of a champion. And at the end of the day, point fighting, this is what he was a champ at, and he had to dig deep and be able to find those moments. We want to definitely set up the pace of him being always on the attack to changing that. Great shot by the writers and Hayden for making sure that we got the shot of him backing up, looking like he was about to charge, but then backing up, and then being able to execute the last sweep to the kip up to the back fist and ending it. And I think it was awesome. And it was really cool to be able to see Sensei Wolf at the end of the day realizing who his opponent is, and that, martial arts isn't all about just skill, it's about character. It's about perseverance. And I think that's what we saw in Johnny Lawrence. And I think the fact that Sensei Wolf gave him the bow and the respect at the end was a beautiful moment.
I want to ask one quick last question about pivoting here. You worked on Daredevil in 2018.
Yeah.
At any point, did Marvel reach out to you to try to get you back on Born Again?
No, it wasn't. Wasn't a thing. I think different people. It's that ran Born Again versus.
You look like a hotter Jason Momoa.
Woo!
I swear.
There we go. I think different people. That's it. You know what I mean? Would it be a dream to work back on that show? Fantastic. Yeah, of course it would. You know what I mean? But I'm honored and happy to be here representing Cobra Kai. Yeah.
Well, sir, thank you very much.
Thank you.